Good afternoon. This is the Talk of the County live from the NACO annual conference in Hillsborough County, Florida. We are pleased to be here to talk about Franklin County and IT, technology. The things that we do to make life work better on behalf of the 1.35 million Franklin County residents, and all in the theme of serving every resident every day. We are here. Franklin County has just been freshly awarded one of the top 10 digital counties with a population over 1 million. Adam Frumkin is the Data Center CIO, and Juan Torres is the Franklin County BOC CIO. And I want these gentlemen to tell me a little bit about this award and how in the heck did Franklin County receive it?
Well, I think we've been trying to move in this direction for probably the last 5 or 6 years since Juan and I came in and to our positions, and this year we've accomplished it. And the one thing about the Digital County Survey is it illustrates how counties are on the cutting edge, pursuing innovative approaches to serve our residents and recognize the accomplishments and continuing efforts to use technology, and how we make government better for our residents every day. And it's a huge accomplishment for us to be able to move in this direction. And it's just the start of where we want to go. And I think it's a testament to the innovative ideas that we have and we come up with, but more of a testament that the commissioners and county administration are willing to support and move us in a direction and fund us to allow us to be innovative in how we help our residents.
Juan, you have anything to add?
I think one, that the survey actually takes into a lot of different components. So everything from cybersecurity to how much does the county actually invest in technology? Are you doing any actual infrastructure technology? Are you doing, obviously the hot topic right now is AI, robotic processing. So it took us multiple hours to actually sit down, and it really digs into the financials of our investment in the technology, and then sort of strategic planning. And so, yeah, this is the first time we've been awarded it. It was an honor. And then just to be recognized with other counties. Alameda County was named #1, and they have great leadership there. And so we strive to move up the rankings, but it was a huge accomplishment to be awarded the first time.
And one of the other pieces that it helps us focus on is replacement of legacy technology and utilizing good technology to be able to move us forward.
Yes.
And that's been our focus for the last few years, is how do we move from legacy to innovative cutting edge environments?
In my opinion, technology's greatest value is how it helps people in real life and how it helps people be more efficient in real life. Bells and whistles don't matter if you have no sound. You gotta make technology work for people. And I think receiving this award is a reflection that we move far beyond the telephone being the primary tool to help our constituents. I can remember a day where the telephone and our IVR system were the primary tools to help our residents communicate with county government. So let's talk about what role does, point on in more detail to my comments, what role does technology play in enhancing the efficiency within county operations, specifically a county as large as Franklin County, being the largest in the state of Ohio and one of the largest in the country, having well over 1 million residents, and before we blink an eye, we will be at 2 million residents.
You want to take it first? Or?
Yeah. So, I think first and foremost, we should always focus on what the needs are in what the needs of our residents and who we serve. And this allows us to enhance or implement technology that helps us deliver services more efficiently. And I think sometimes people have this misnomer that efficiency means we're cutting costs or we're going to change how the makeup of people are. And that's really not what it's about.
My budget director thinks that way.
Well, he does. He does.
But
He does.
that's what his role is.
And that's his role. And we appreciate his role very much. But the other side of it is, efficiency allows us not necessarily to save money, but it allows us to look at how we can better serve our residents and deliver more services or additional services to those that are seeking it from the county. If we truly live our motto of every resident every day, finding efficiencies allows us to serve them better. And that's where efficiency really helps county operations. It's really our focus, which is the people outside the four walls, our residents.
You walked right into that, Adam, because I believe one of the first panels Juan and I presented together as the administrator and the CIO was the subject was budget versus technology, and when the cost benefit analysis. You remember that one?
Yes. So much has changed for the cost of technology. Before it was just the cost of the laptop. Or for ages, government didn't have laptops. Government focused on desktops, seats, staff in offices, and so COVID really changed our approach to a hybrid workforce, changed into cloud technology. So the number of cloud solutions that we've launched over the 5 years, that was actually one of our first initiatives that you had challenged us was moving email to the cloud. And so that was a huge first step. Since then, we've moved a ton of applications to the cloud. We've moved solutions for our fleet management, our Office on Aging, our animal shelter, our recorder's office, and an auditor's office for multiple units, our ERP system. And so, yes, many of these solutions do come with cost, but they also come with efficiencies and more reliability and then security and stability. So.
One of my goals as administrator is to use technology to ensure that the county is as transparent as possible as far as making data available to the residents. As far as, again, technology working for our residents in a real life situation. And on that note, Adam, you were intricately involved in the long process, relatively speaking, to implement body-worn cameras for our Franklin County Sheriff's Department. Talk about how much technology is involved in making body cameras work in the field.
So I don't think people really understand the first note of what we go through to get to that point. It is everything. You have servers upon servers and technology that sits behind it and the cloud perspective of how videos just in the field are taken, where it then lays out into where it's saved, and then the chain of custody in the technology of how those videos are secured so that they cannot be modified or changed, so that they can be used when needed to help resolve or have a discussion around something that may have happened. And so the technology behind it and the negotiations that we went through to get to where we are, and even to the point where Franklin County pushed the limits of the vendors and the vendor that we decided upon, in having them change their process in what they were doing to meet the needs that we were seeking, so that we could give the technology and the ability of what we were seeking so that we could better serve our residents. The technology is not something that's easy to look at, even to the point where when a deputy comes off shift, we had to look at how we looked at technology and had to transform technology so that we weren't in a hub and spoke environment where everything came back to the data center, but yet we worked in an SD-WAN to build out technology so that at the location that that deputy was coming off shift, it could be saved directly to the cloud in less time than it would be needed, so we wouldn't have to even keep the deputies around.
Yeah.
And we transformed that even to making it Wi-Fi capable so it would actually upload during the day.
Right. Technology, another key area where technology plays a vital role, and I work very closely with the data center, and that is the administration of elections, literally democracy, making sure democracy works effectively and efficiently. Yes, elections are paper intensive for absentee ballots and such, but at the end of the day, tell the podcast listeners the rubber meets the road with your technology working.
So, using technology in an election environment is not easy because you have to ensure it in so many ways that there's a trust factor. And one of the things that I live on and breathe on every day is in government, the value of what we do and the currency that we have for our residents is trust. It has nothing to do with money. It has to do with trust. And how we build that is what we use and what the technology that we put in place, not only for day-to-day interactions, but in the elections environment. And, we've gone through a replacement of our system that allows for people to register to vote. Mm-hmm. And now we've actually gone through the process of updating and upgrading our environment for when they check in to vote so that we can ensure a fair, secure election, no matter what. When we stand at the end of the day, we know that we've done the right things to serve the public in the best way possible to have a secure and great election environment, and their time that they've spent walking in to cast their ballot was done with efficiency, but with secure.
And I'm happy to be the administrator in a county where the Board of Commissioners are willing to make all of the necessary investments to ensure that we have the best resources to go towards the Board of Elections.
Yeah, I think we tend to strive to overcome and to be the best. And sometimes that's not easy, but sometimes we look at directives that we have from the Secretary of State's office or from the state of Ohio, and because counties have the jurisdiction of the election, we have to think what's best for us. And sometimes it's going above and beyond those directives so that we can say what we've done is for the residents and how they cast their ballots, and making sure that they know without a shadow of doubt that that ballot that was cast is secure, counted, and it's what they wanted.
On that note, Adam and Juan, what are the challenges the county has faced in implementing new technologies, and how we've been able to overcome those?
Well, I think probably the biggest challenge is how broad we are as a county. Just here in this short time, you brought up body cameras, which is a massive initiative. You brought up elections. You brought up our going to the cloud. We are not a private sector entity that focuses on one business unit. We provide services all in the county, everything from health and human services to economic development, and public safety, public health, and all these agencies have their own necessary technology to deliver their services. And so there's not a chance where we can say, hey, we're not going to do this today. It's such a broad offering of services that we have, but then also meeting with the resident where they're at. So having such a diverse population in our community, we have multilingual services, we have applications that have to run 24/7. We've got obviously jail management systems, we've got sheriff's office, we have agencies that are always around the clock. So when you're trying to do either a maintenance or a release or any type of introduction of new technology, like there is a lot of that's dependent on it. And then with elections, with some of the rules, we have certain blackout periods that we're not permitted to make any changes. And so here we are trying to get through a process, and we have to either make our release or we have to determine to delay that. But we can take in generational. We have a whole different generation of workforce that's coming in. We also have some legacy technology that we are making every effort to replace. So we have solutions that have been around the county for years. We have solutions that are using the latest, greatest technology that was just released that is getting quarterly, monthly updates. And so really, I think the challenge is keeping up pace of all these solutions, but then staff development and training.
Change is hard.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not necessarily the technology that's the hard part. Sometimes it's the people side of it. Helping people understand we have to make change, and change is good. And sometimes changing the way they do their work can be helpful.
Yeah. You know, we have nearly 7,000 employees, and if you want to get people upset, upgrade a software system. You want to get a bunch of people mad and have a congregation come in with pitchforks, change an app or upgrade an application. But we have to do it sometime. Even me as administrator, I get grumpy and say, what's today we had to do that? For whatever reason.
We get asked that a lot.
Yes. But I think on that, it's timing of these. So we have so many services that are on daily, weekly, monthly processing. So you can't say, hey, the first week of the month, we're going to do this. I think one big challenge is looking across the entire county of when this change goes into place, which agency is affected. Because it tends to be a rippling effect. So it might be great for this agency, like this is the perfect window to release this upgrade. This is not the great window for neighboring partner, sister agency. And so that communication across the county of everything from different elected officials to staff you got evening staff, you got morning staff. So how do we keep that communication?
But one thing that, we talk about those keep you up at night issues is while we're talking about the nuts and bolts of technology, we need one very vital ingredient for any of this technology to work. And it's what? Electricity. And during the summer months, especially, it appears that in Franklin County, Ohio, there's stress on our electrical system. And one of our blessings is having a large number of data centers that support various cloud-based applications and other great things. But those centers use a lot of electricity. And I've seen both of your faces when you got a blip or you got a long time, an outage of more than 15 minutes of electricity to feed all these systems, and then especially tech servers and such. That's why it's probably is blessing as we move more to the cloud, because we don't have as many on-premise. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
We don't have as many on-premise servers and such that we have to worry about getting hot and overheating and being the damage that could be done when they're not online.
We'll never get away from having on-premise servers, but the more crucial and critical applications we can move to the cloud or alternate data centers helps us be successful in maintaining the continuity of government business.
Yeah, I mean, electricity is like everything, because you got all of these systems, they could be the best systems designed in the world, and if they don't have electricity to feed them, you got problems. Let's move on to another exciting initiative that is part of when complete, it will improve our face in the community, and it will improve how we communicate with our residents. Let's talk about One Franklin County. Explain what this project is to our residents and what it will ultimately mean for our county.
So One Franklin County is our really our first initiative to go along the government experience. So in the private sector, there's been the customer experience, the customer journey, and so we have brought that mindset into the county to focus on the experience of the resident. So right now, our web presence was designed with a focus on government structure and how agencies are aligned. However, a resident doesn't always know what agency they need to speak to receive a service. And so we sat down and identified a partner that can really look to transform our web presence and really focus on services for residents and businesses of the community. And so we are taking the 14 commissioner agencies. Right now so one of the studies we did, we have 14 commissioner agencies, and we had 29 different unique URLs for residents to go to receive a service. And so we are looking to have One Franklin County where we will focus on the services for residents to come to our website to experience the county differently. So if a resident is in need of maybe our health and human services or food assistance, or are looking to adopt a dog. I want to adopt a dog, or how do I license, or how do I get a marriage license? These are services that residents are receiving from us every single day. But our current web design structure sends them to all these different URLs. And so we hope to integrate all these services, but also cross-market the services that we have. And so you might have a service from our Office on Aging that needs to then receive a service from our Job and Family Services, or receive a service from the auditor, treasurer, or others. And so we are taking this government experience journey mapping, and we are actually just hit a milestone. We're collecting feedback from residents to go through a wireframe exercise if anyone who's visiting our website now. But we're also introducing ADA compliance, multilingual services, all these new tools that are available to make services available to the 1.3 residents.
And you touched on this one. What's going to make One Franklin County such an important project is there is just so many lines of business that are impacted by this. You know, if we were an ice cream shop, we would definitely be a leader in the number of flavors served. We would most definitely be a leader in the number of flavors served if we were an ice cream shop.
I think one of the things that we've been, the county, Franklin County has been revolutionary on, and something that Juan tipped off on or brought up was about the GX, and changing and building and focusing on what we call the GX Foundry, or the Government Experience Foundry, and thinking differently. And this first step of One Franklin County is taking a website that most, and I'm not saying it's just us, most government websites are focused on the government, not necessarily on the people that actually use it. And what our role here is taking that look of that government experience. How does the resident or the business experience who we are and what they're looking for, and making them the primary emphasis of what we do, and making it so it's so easy for them to find what they need that they get a better experience with us, and they're not afraid to come to us. They're not afraid to look or feel it challenged and not find what they need. And that's what we're doing as a county. This is just our first step.
I think we can go on and on about this of so much that we're doing differently. We've put staff through some training of writing for the web so we can communicate a much easier language for residents, try to reduce the jargon, reduce the government speak, and make it understandable for every level who comes to our site, but also more of a mobile-first approach, because what we found is that even here, we're using mobile devices, more tablets, more phones are visiting our site, and everyone wants that experience right now, and we hate to say that the Amazon experience, and how do we introduce that concept where you can do all your services online. I don't know, we're not going to get there tomorrow,
Right.
but we're taking it piece by piece of what we have full control of.
What do we anticipate this gonna do? Give me one example of what both of you are looking for the greatest benefit when we talk about resident engagement, and Juan, to your point, making it easier for someone to find a website to renew a dog license or pay their taxes, pay your taxes.
One, it's this new closed-back loop, or feedback loop. So residents at any point in time on the new site being able to, hey, is this page helpful or not? Or I'm looking for this. We can now take that data and same day make a change to the site based on feedback that is received. And so somebody's looking for a particular service, and in the county we call it something different. We can now link the metadata so that way when that resident comes back to the site, they're going to find the services that they're looking for. I think that's one of the things I'm excited about is when we bring all these platforms together, a more usable search, a more usable interface for residents, but also cleaning up some of the old content that's been out there for years, and just making it what residents are looking for today.
Yeah.
We have a tendency from a government perspective to come up with great names for things that are not common words. And what Juan's talking about is we can still have the names and the things that are there, but have common words that link to those. So when people ask or search or put a search in for what they think it may be called, we can find it. And the idea is utilizing what we have, that when someone puts something in and they don't find it, it then gives us that ability to say that was asked for, and now we can link that. So the next person that may use that common language will get exactly to where they need to go. So it's learning as we go as well.
Okay, now we got the Talk of the County remix coming. I'm gonna take you guys in your blue suits, looking all conservative, all official, and ask you one simple question. Tell the podcast listeners something funny about yourself. And I already know what you're gonna say, Mr. Frumkin. But I know Juan got a lot of material because he has two little ones at home, Julian and Mia, to get him a lot of material. He got a lot of material. I just watched those chronicles on Facebook, and so tell the Talk of the County listeners something funny about you CIO type guys. Individually, don't go too far, but tell the listeners something funny about you.
Funny. Can we go unique?
Unique, then. You don't want to be funny. You can be...
No. Everyone's got different humor. So you talk about little ones. So having the opportunity to nearly deliver my son on the side of 315 during rush hour traffic is probably the most unique opportunity or experience of using public servants to help deliver a baby on the side of the road.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one, a unique experience. I believe that was on CNN. I think that made national news, your experience. It was on CNN, folks. It was on CNN. CNN. It was national news. It was on all the, I think it was on CNN, MSNBC, 4, 6, 10, all the channels. Don't want to leave any channels out. You on all the channels.
So yes, that's the behind the scenes.
And he's a healthy, bouncing
Yes.
young man coming into shape.
Yes. So the anniversary is coming up here in a few months. So 3 years.
What you got, sir?
Oh boy, I feel like I'm a target-rich environment, but I'm going to give away something that I know some of the people that are listening, and I know the people in this room know about me, but some others or most others probably don't. But our own Columbus Clippers have 2 mascots, both Lucille and Crash, and I actually played Lucille for a few seasons as the mascot for our Columbus Clippers.
That's a good one. He probably was on a commercial with mascots, and we don't even know it. He probably was one of them mascots in a commercial that many of you has probably seen. Probably seen the Franklin County CIO was in one of those costumes. You don't have to tell us if you was really in the commercial. Nah, you don't have to tell us the word.
So I think it's only fair for I know it's your podcast, but can you share the residents something unique about yourself?
Some unique or funny about me. I am somewhat germophobic. I use a lot of hand sanitizer, Lysol, wipes, any kind of disinfectants I can get around me, because I don't want to be sick with cold or flu due to any self-inflicted actions of my own. So that's probably funny and unique at the same time. And I don't do well during plagues or any spreading of any kind of disease outbreaks, because I don't want to have any kind of. So you put me out there and I put it out there. Anybody that works with me already knew that. But the listeners of Talk of the County know that. Because if I'm separated from hand sanitizer, I'm not likely to eat anybody's French fries, potato chips, or anything with my hands if I'm away from something. So on my parting, you all had the advantage of being around podcast, so you won't be surprised. You'll be ready for this question and answer quick. Beach, mountains, or desert?
Beach.
I'll go beach as well.
So they all went beach. Beach is the overwhelming thing. So all the beach communities in America that's why they're full, because everybody want to be on the beach. You like getting sand on your feet?
My wife and I, we've been married for 35 years, and we try to make it every year just to go for a walk on the beach. That's my favorite place, to just go for a walk with my wife on the beach.
And I'll take any more with sunshine.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to have to bring a guess on, based on my internal intel, that won't pick beach. I have some internal intel that I know I have some people that surprisingly, everyone's not a fan of the beach or the ocean. They're just not, and you might find out. Listen to enough Talk of the Counties, and we will expose some of the people that are not fans of the beach, believe it or not. Everyone has visions, you would think, of palm trees and beach. But in closing, this Talk of the County podcast, we had to, after talking about all that heavy IT stuff, we had to go offline a little bit here. But in closing, it's been a great conversation with Adam and Juan, talking about Franklin County's IT initiatives and IT achievements. So in closing, as we always end, do you, nobody else has time to. Thank you.